The tragic fall of Oluwatimileyin Ajayi, a gospel singer's descent into violence. On Sunday, January 12, 2025, in the quiet town of Orozo, located on the outskirts of Abuja, Nigeria, a scene of horror unfolded that would send shockwaves throughout the community and beyond. Oluwatimileyin Ajayi, a well-known gospel singer and fitness enthusiast from Kabba in Kogi State, was apprehended by Nigerian police near a church in Orozo. What seemed like an ordinary day quickly spiraled into a nightmare when Ajayi, walking calmly down the street, was seen carrying a black nylon bag with flies buzzing around it in an unnatural manner. The flies seemed to follow the bag, something that caught the attention of passers-by. At first, no one could have anticipated the macabre discovery that would soon be made. As Ajayi walked down the road, he appeared indifferent to the growing suspicion of those around him. The Nigerian police, having been alerted by concerned citizens, quickly arrived at the scene. There was something unsettling about Ajayi's calm and collected demeanor as he walked along the quiet road. The flies that followed the bag were a clear sign that something was amiss, and when police officers approached him, they wasted no time in searching the bag. What they discovered inside shocked everyone. It was the severed head of a human body. The remains, still fresh and gruesome, were unmistakable. The sight left the officers horrified, and their immediate reaction was to apprehend Ajayi and begin questioning him. Despite the gruesome discovery, Ajayi remained eerily composed, offering little resistance as he was taken into custody. As he was interrogated by the police, Ajayi did not attempt to deny his involvement in the crime. When asked about the contents of the bag, he admitted without hesitation that the severed human head, remains inside, were those of his girlfriend, Salome Adaidu. Ajayi went on to explain that he had been in a romantic relationship with Salome for a year, but over time, things had started to fall apart. Ajayi revealed that Salome had been the victim of his growing possessiveness and jealousy. He admitted that, over time, his insecurities had taken over and began to consume him. The tension between them had escalated in recent months, and Ajayi's emotional volatility had reached a boiling point. On the day of the murder, they had gotten into a heated argument. According to Ajayi, he lost control during the confrontation and, in a fit of rage, attacked Salome. He killed her in a violent outburst, and in an attempt to hide his crime, he dismembered her body. Ajayi's cold and detached confession stunned the authorities. His willingness to admit to the murder, without any signs of remorse, added to the chilling nature of the crime. It was as if he had no real understanding of the gravity of what he had done, a stark contrast to the public persona he had built as a gospel singer who preached messages of faith, love, and hope. Salome Adaidu, a young woman from Kogi State, had moved to Abuja with aspirations of building a future for herself in the city. She had dreams of working in fashion and becoming a successful entrepreneur. Her friends and family remember her as a kind-hearted, vibrant, and loving person, full of life and potential. Salome had met Ajayi around a year before the tragic events, and at first, their relationship seemed promising. However, as time passed, those close to Salome began to notice a change in her. She became more withdrawn, and her friends began to hear whispers about trouble in the relationship. Though Salome had once been open and happy, she had started to pull away from the people who cared about her. Reports from those who knew her best suggest that Salome had begun to experience emotional and possibly physical abuse at the hands of Ajayi. Yet, despite the signs of abuse, Salome had remained in the relationship, possibly out of fear or a desire to make things work. In hindsight, many of Salome's loved ones recalled conversations where she expressed concerns about Ajayi's increasingly possessive behavior, but she never seemed to fully understand how to get out of the situation. Tragically, her inability to escape this toxic and dangerous relationship would ultimately cost her life. Salome's family, who had supported her through thick and thin, were devastated by the news of her brutal murder. Her parents, who had hoped to see their daughter achieve great things, were left reeling from the shocking loss of a young woman who had so much potential. Salome's death left a void in the lives of those who loved her, and the horror of what happened to her in the final moments of her life haunted everyone who knew her. Oluwatimileyin Ajayi's arrest sent shockwaves through the community in Abuja, where he had been a popular gospel artist and fitness advocate. His music, filled with messages of faith and positivity, had earned him a following among local churchgoers and fans of gospel music. Many had viewed him as a beacon of hope, someone who inspired others with his words of encouragement. But the truth about Ajayi's character was far darker than anyone could have imagined. The discovery that a man who had once used his voice to sing about love and redemption was now accused of committing such a brutal act was unfathomable to those who had admired him. Friends, fans, and fellow gospel singers alike expressed disbelief, struggling to reconcile the image of the man they had once respected with the reality of the gruesome crime he had committed. The case quickly became a national sensation, with people across the country expressing their outrage at the murder and the horrifying details of the crime. Many were left questioning how someone who had preached love and hope could have allowed his jealousy and rage to spiral into such violence. The case prompted discussions about domestic violence, emotional abuse, and the dangers of controlling relationships, and how often these dark aspects of a person's life are hidden behind a carefully curated public image. Following his arrest, Ajayi was taken into police custody, where he was formally charged with the murder of Salome Adaidu. Nigerian police launched a full investigation into the circumstances of her death, with forensic experts working to confirm the details of the crime. As of now, Ajayi is awaiting trial, with prosecutors determined to hold him accountable for his actions. The case has drawn attention to the darker side of abusive relationships, shedding light on the emotional manipulation and control that can take place behind closed doors. Ajayi's trial will no doubt be one of the most closely watched legal proceedings in Nigeria, as many await justice for Salome and seek answers to the questions surrounding her tragic death. Ajayi's defense team has not yet revealed their strategy, but it is expected that they may attempt to argue that he was suffering from mental instability or extreme emotional distress. However, given the brutal nature of the crime and Ajayi's calm demeanor during his confession, many believe that the prosecution will have a strong case, ultimately leading to public outrage and discussions on domestic violence as he awaits trial. The story of Oluwatimileyin Ajayi and Salome Adaidu is a sobering reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of seemingly perfect relationships. For Salome, her dreams of a bright future were extinguished in an instant, leaving behind only a trail of grief and unanswered questions. Her family, friends, and the community will remember her for the joy she brought into their lives, a life that was tragically cut short by a man who should have loved and protected her. As for Ajayi, his fall from grace is both tragic and horrifying. The man who once inspired others with his gospel music and fitness journey is now seen as a symbol of the dangers of emotional abuse and control. His actions will not only have a lasting impact on the people who knew him, but also on the many who had looked up to him for inspiration. The trial is yet to unfold, but one thing is certain. The story of Oluwatimileyin Ajayi and Salome Adaidu will serve as a chilling reminder of how the worst kind of violence can befall anyone, no matter how much we may choose to trust those who will love. The trial is yet to unfold, but one thing is certain. The story of Oluwatimileyin Ajayi and Salome Adaidu will serve as a chilling reminder of how the worst kind of violence can befall anyone, no matter how much we may choose to trust those who will love. The trial is yet to unfold, but one thing is certain. The story of Oluwatimileyin Ajayi and Salome Adaidu will serve as a chilling reminder of how the worst kind of violence can befall anyone, no matter how much we may choose to trust those who will love.